All right, Algebra 1 students, let's look at Unit 2, Lesson 6, Equivalent Equations. So we've got 3 goals here. They're a little bit longer. Take your time getting them down. As I talk them through, I'll try and decode them for you a little. I can tell whether 2 expressions are equivalent and explain why or why not. So one of the big things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at expressions and being able to show how they're equal to each other, or if they're not. I know and can identify the moves that can be made to transform an equation into an equivalent one. So another thing that we're going to do is we're going to take an expression or an equation and we're going to change it into a new version of that same equation, an equivalent equation then, and that equivalent equation can maybe tell us a little bit more about the problem. I understand what it means for 2 equations to be equivalent and how equivalent equations can be used to describe the same situation in different ways. Like I just said, by using equivalent equations, we can look at a problem, a situation, in multiple ways and get more information. That's one of the main reasons we want to be able to rearrange a problem and create these equivalent equations. All right, we've got some new vocabulary that we're going to focus on with this lesson. So first thing is equivalent equations, which are equations that have the exact same solutions. So it could just be one solution, it could be many solutions, but they have to share all their solutions. They can't just pick and choose or just share one or two. It's got to be everything. Order of operations. So we have 4 steps to our order of operations. This should be reviewed from middle school, but we're just going to quickly go over it because it's going to be used a lot in this lesson and going forward. So we always want to take care of our parentheses in a problem first. Remember, parentheses are any type of grouping symbol. So it could be brackets, it could be braces. It can also be a big division bar with multiple maths going on top and bottom. Then we want to deal with powers and exponents next. Those are those small numbers that create a multiplication type problem. The third step is to divide and multiply from left to right. Make sure that you're doing whatever comes first from left to right. Don't do multiplication first, don't do division first. Do what the problem says to do first. And you go left to right, and these two are done at the same time. The fourth step is to add and subtract from left to right. This is done same as divide and multiply. You don't add first, you don't subtract first. You do them in the order in which they come into the problem from left to right. Another thing from middle school that we're going to need to remember is distributing. So here I have the problem 2 times x plus 5. But because of these parentheses, we can simplify the problem by taking 2 times the x and getting 2x. Taking 2 times the 5 also and getting 10. So these are a way of distributing to create equivalent equations or equivalent expressions. And then we also want to remember our balance rule. Any math we put into a problem, we have to put in on both sides in an equal sign. So here we have x plus 6 equals 10. So if I want to add 1 to the x plus 6 side, I also must add 1 to the 10 side, which creates x plus 7 equals 11. These 2 black problems here would be considered equivalent equations. All right, so your warm-up for this lesson is cut into 2 parts. So half of you will do the part on the left and half of you will do the part on the right. And then tomorrow's discussion will be looking into the math and the answers that we got and kind of comparing the stuff on the left to the stuff on the right. So anyone whose last name starts with A through M is going to do this problem here. So please write that down. And then you're going to evaluate. You're going to do the math for this problem 4 times. You're going to use 5, 7, 13, negative 1. So for example, you're going to take 5. You're going to put it in for N. I would probably rewrite the problem. Then you're going to do that math using the order of operations. Get an answer. Write that down. Bring it to class along with the other 3. All right, anyone whose last name starts with N through Z is going to do this problem right here. So I would write that down so you can use it. And then you're going to evaluate the expression when N is 5, 7, 13, and negative 1. So again, you're going to take 5, you're going to put it in for the n. Here you've got 2 n's. Then you're going to use the order of operations to do that math problem. Then you're going to repeat that with 7, 13, negative 1. Bring your answers tomorrow to class. So all of you bring your answers to class in your work, and then that's going to start our discussion into the idea of equivalent equations. Thanks.